So welcome back guys to another video, and today I'm stepping back from gaming content to talk about another hobby I absolutely love, and that is Gunpla. Gundam plastic models. And I don't know, around this time of the year when it starts getting closer to Christmas, I had this sudden urge to start building mechs. And just like my passion in gaming, this is a hobby I want to share with you guys, and this is really aimed towards the folks who are just thinking about getting into the hobby. Maybe you feel a little overwhelmed, you don't know where to start. I'm going to be talking about some tips and tricks of how to assemble your first build, as well as some model recommendations. And as a disclaimer, all the products that I mentioned, I'll have a link on the description below to the Amazon links. You guys can support the show, but without further ado, let's get started. Whether you're building a front porch deck or building a mech, you're gonna need tools, and thankfully Gunpla doesn't really require a lot of tools right off the bat. What's great about these model kits, they don't require any sort of glue or painting. You can pretty much just open it up and assemble it. But I definitely recommend some tools, and Amazon has a great deal on this like utility model tool set. You get a couple things like different filers, you get different size tweezers, which are excellent for, installing the decals. And I'm going to talk more about these files because I know I mentioned that you don't need a whole lot of tools, so you may be asking yourself, what do I need these files for? But the most important tool that you need to start assembling these models are a good pair of nippers. Now, these nippers that came with the Amazon toolkit, they're okay. They do the job. I do feel like after a while these would start to get kind of dull, so I hate to say it, but it really pays to kind of just buy something a little bit more premium. I went ahead and got a pack of the God Hands. Now these nippers are specifically made to assemble and cut and get everything you need to get going with Gunpla. And yeah, they're a little expensive, but I've honestly put together probably around like 12 or 13 different models, and they're still sharp as the day I got them. And I really do recommend the God Hand nippers. Now, not only would you need these files to maybe file an edge to make the plastic a little bit smoother, but also you can do something called scribing. Now, scribing is pretty much your own customization to your Gunpla. You use these files, you can scrape against the plastic, add some really wear and tear just to make the mech have a certain kind of flavor to it, which I can't recommend enough. Panel lining. Panel lining can make a high grade look like a premium build by just a little bit of detail. Taking these pins and going around the different creases of the plastic can really make certain parts of the mech really pop. Of course, there's also other ways to make panel lining other than using Gundam markers. You can use some of this panel lining ink here, but I will say if you're going to use this, have some primer so you can kind of get around the excess areas that kind of spill within the cracks. I really do enjoy this method. Just one little drop, it fills in all the cracks on the Gundam and really makes a difference. And please buy a cutting board. Your surface will thank you. Now, you may have heard me mention high grade. I'm going to get into the different grades of the Gunpla. Now, I do want to say I don't think of the grades as a difficulty level because no matter what model you choose, they all have their own pros and cons, but there are some very basic knowledge when it comes to the different grades of the Gunpla. And just to keep things very simplistic, I'm just going to go over the broad clarifications. Starting first with the Super Deformed, the SD grade. These Gunpla kits are characterized by their chibi style, exaggerated proportions, and super deformed appearances. These kits are generally simpler to build and feature unique designs based off characters from the Gundam series. High grades are kind of your standard Gunpla class, and they're known for their affordability and ease of assembly. They're typically 1 to 144 scale and offer a good balance of detail and articulation. High grade kits are great for beginners and casual builders. And next up is real grade. These Gunpla kits are about 1 to 144 scale models, but they're known for their high level of detail and inner frame construction, adding more posability. They are really designed to replicate the look and feel of the mobile suits from the anime series. RG kits are popular among the intermediate players and those that are craving just a little bit more detail. Master grades are specifically made for those that are craving a little bit more complexity compared to, say, the high grade or real grade. Like the real grade kits, it has the inner frame construction for articulation, so the posability is off the walls. You also have more parts for panel lining, and they stand around a 1:100 scale, so they're substantially a lot bigger. Perfect grade kits are the pinnacle of detail, complexity, and size. These 1:160 scale models are the most advanced Gunpla kits available, featuring a high level of detail, a large number of parts, and even advanced engineering. Perfect grade kits are designed for the experienced builders and serious collectors, because let me tell you, some of these have a pretty hefty price tag. I'm currently working on my first master grade. This is the RX-78-2 1.5. This is an older kit, so it's going to be a little bit more challenging, but be sure to look at feedback on model kits before you purchase them if you're unsure if this is going to be the kit for you. And speaking of kits for you, I have 4 models right now that I've personally put together that I feel like would be a great first build. This is an entry grade. This is a beginner's kit right here. This is the first one I did. It's the RX-78-2. Iconic. But what I like about this model kit, you don't even need nippers for this, to be honest. There are just a couple of runners, a couple of pieces of plastic, not a whole lot of decals. The only decals are maybe for his eyes. And what I really liked about putting this one together was it allowed me to experiment with panel lining and scribing without worrying about, messing up a very expensive model. This is a recent build I just did a couple of days ago, actually. This is the Zaku 2 F2. And I love this kit because I love the Zaku mobile suits. I think they just look aesthetically awesome. And I love the little detail in this model. I like the off-white color scheme that's very broad in the sense that you could do so much with panel lining and scribing and really make this your own unique build. Even the numbers on the side of his shield, I was able to, put my own numbers on there. I thought that was freaking awesome. For all you Gundam Wing fans, the Leo is a surprisingly very easy build, and I like it because he is kind of a grunt. So, maybe if you want to build your own battle scene, this is a great, quick and easy build that you can do to really make it all pop. And I honestly, I put this whole kit together without hardly even looking at the instruction manual. There's no decals. There's very little panel lining, and yeah, you could add some scribing to it. You can do a lot of customization. He does come with a good amount of weapons, including like a shield and a buster sword and a flamethrower. So the Leo is freaking awesome. And from the Gundam Breaker series, I absolutely love the Blazing Gundam. There are so much customization that you can do with this build. You can change out his helmet, so if you want to have a red helmet or more of a white helmet, so it looks a little bit more like the RX-78. But also you can add little things like having his foot have the glowing green like he's doing an action pose. There's a lot of good articulation with this one. This was probably my 3rd build I did about 2 years ago. I did mess up his leg, but it's not the end of the world. I also like the fact that he has an open hand, so you can do a lot of cool stuff with this one. But anyway, guys, I hope this video is informative and sprouted a new hobby. And are you already a Gunpla builder? Leave a comment below. What build would you recommend for someone's first build? I'd love to hear some of your recommendations. And if you have some really cool builds to show off, go on my X page at Xander Skullion or Instagram with the hashtag XSGunpla. Anyway, folks, I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and also hit that bell so you're notified on all future content that comes out on this channel. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and as always, happy building.